Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with a remarkable legal professional who has quickly made a name for himself in the legal industry. We are joined by Qhawe. I'm going to get it right, I promise you, by the end of today. We are joined by the founder and the director of Sosibo Attorneys Inc, a dynamic law firm that is based in Gauteng. He is an admitted attorney in the High Court of South Africa, holding a Bachelor of Laws from the University of Fort Hare, and currently pursuing his Masters of Laws in Constitutional and Human Rights Litigation at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And today we are able to delve into his journey as the vision behind Sosibo Attorneys Inc and how his firm is making a difference in the legal landscape. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live.
Good evening to you, and good evening also to your viewers.
I'm always excited to speak to people in the legal fraternity because there's so many different reasons that people decide to get into law. Now, let's start with that for our conversation this evening. What inspired you to pursue a career in the legal space?
I think it was in grade 10 when that seed was planted. I was doing history, and there was a teacher in my high school called Marbeck Secondary, Miss Naika. And she was someone that was so involved and always wanted young people at a very young age to debate issues, especially political issues, at the highest level. And I thought that I have that also to be at the same level where other attorneys are today, to be able to represent my clients and argue profoundly.
That's incredible. And you are, the founder of your very own law firm, which started in 2022. Congratulations on that. I mean, starting your own practice is such a big step in an attorney's career. And in that way, you're going to be able to help so many people. Can you tell us more about your firm and what do you specialize in?
So, it's still a small baby, but we're getting there. I think the most important thing is that we're able to assist our clients. So what actually made me start my own firm, I used to practice for a firm, and I thought that I need to bring something new, especially for young people, because every time when you go to court, it's always the senior people. So I wanted young people to also relate when they share their experiences with me. Sometimes it's difficult for a young person to open up and tell you the full facts of their story. Sometimes they feel that they will be judged. But looking at the young attorneys sitting on the other side of the table, they will be able to feel free and share their experiences in order for me to properly present their case in court.
That's a very, very interesting perspective, because there are a lot of young people who are now entering the profession, and like you said, can sometimes feel a bit left out, or like they can't find their place or where they kind of fit in terms of the profession. And I like that you were able to start your own practice as a very basis for young people to be able to come through to and find a space where they can help their clients. What is your vision for your law firm? Where do you see the firm in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I would like to see the firm at least employing 70% of young women that are able to bring change in the society. Mostly we find a lot of women, especially in this Women's Month, with respect to GBV. And some women also, they feel that they'll be victimized if they speak to male attorneys. And most of the time when they go and report their cases at the police station, they would find male policemen. So having women attorneys in the practice, women will also be able to relate and share their stories, and will be able to take up their cases and present them properly.
I love that you shared that, because the area of gender-based violence is very much neglected, and a lot of women don't actually know what to do if they are currently in a position where they are experiencing some form of violence, and they're not sure how to report it. They're not sure, how to actually stand up for themselves, and the legal system as it is doesn't represent the interests very well of the victim. So I love that you mentioned that, and that your firm is going to be, a platform, or really a place where you can catapult those female voices and be able to empower them with the platform as well. Now, we're getting a lot of questions actually from young legal practitioners, as well as students, as well as people who are currently doing, they're still a candidate attorney. From your experience being in the legal fraternity, what is your advice to them when it comes to finding their niche area of litigation, as well as how to manage the your 2 years being a candidate attorney?
Firstly, I always say to people, do not be a bank bencher. Be a go-getter, be inquisitive. If you are serving as a pupil at the bar, you want to be an advocate, take initiative when you are given matters by your senior. Get involved. Go an extra mile. Everyone is an LLB. We're competing for the same thing. And people are pursuing masters, people are pursuing other certificates. But most importantly, what will make you stand out is when you go-getter, you never become a backbencher, you get involved.
Oh, that's some incredible advice. Now, something that your firm specializes in and something that is really core to the values of what you stand for is achieving justice for your clients, treating them with respect and honor and making sure that they achieve justice. Can you tell us more about this philosophy and this concept that you have derived for your law firm?
Representing clients, especially the marginalized community, people that cannot afford sometimes legal fees, they would come to the office and negotiate. Other people usually say that lawyers are not for charity. You know, you have to pay in order for me to be able to work. Sometimes I use an example that a lawyer is just like a vehicle. If there is no petrol, the car doesn't move. Similar to a lawyer, when there is money in the account, one will work until such a time there is no money, and then they will stop. But I think it's important sometimes that we engage clients, you know, at the level where they understand that a lawyer, sometimes you need to pay them. But also as a lawyer, we have a duty to represent clients and ensure that clients' rights are realized. And clients' rights are actually vindicated, because sometimes you find clients, they are rejected by legal aid, sometimes they are rejected by law clinics, and they have nowhere to go if they do not meet the means test. So there is that missing gap between the means test and the person affording the actual private lawyer. So sometimes my practice do come on board and say, I can negotiate fees with you. I drop my fee a bit for the client to be able to afford, and I go and argue the case in court.
That's absolutely incredible, and I love how, you know, commendable that is. That's your way of course, bringing back to the community or giving back to the community, because majority of South Africans cannot afford legal fees, and like you said, many a firm will close their doors when they hear about an instance where there is a client that cannot afford. And I love that you are serving the community in that way, and I hope that a lot of the legal practitioners out there, or the young ones who are still kind of getting there, will take some inspiration from you as well, because that's what law is. It is all about serving the people, and it is absolutely a career of service. But thank you so much for joining us this evening. I mean, this was a really insightful conversation, and I know it's going to inspire a lot of incredible future lawyers who will be joining the fraternity, and maybe even joining your law firm, and maybe even being inspired to hopefully open up their own firms to create those spaces for young people.
Thank you, and thank you for having me tonight.
It's such a pleasure. Viewers at home, if you are in the legal space, I hope you took some notes and some tips from the amazing advice that was shared this evening regarding your career and what you should be doing as a lawyer. Remembering that you are a servant leader, absolutely, and you are there to serve your community as well. So as much as law is, yes, about making money and wearing the fancy suit, it is also about helping those in need. But let us know your thoughts on our social media platforms.